I will be convening an open session. I ask you all to please stand and have a pledge to the flag and please remain standing for the invocation. And then for our two services, Councilman John Munger is going to lead us in the pledge.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I mean, by two services, he served in the Navy and the Army. It's rare to find one person that's done both of those, and we appreciate you. Let's pray. Father, we thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight and see your council. We thank you for those in attendance, and we just pray, Lord, as we do the business of the community, that we'll do it with the right heart, the right heads, and that we'll do honor to those that gave us this privilege, and we'll also honor
I just want to remind that we are live streaming this event. All of America is watching from their living rooms. They tuned out of the World Series and Monday Night Football because we are the king of matches.
And Yvette and I made it so people can hear us actually too. If you're talking to your mic, they can hear you.
And at some point, we'll call you up for a microphone to make a comment. Please identify your address. Find out if you're voting for us or not. If you do that. And speak into that microphone.
Name and address.
Can we get the city clerk's verification and posting of the agenda? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The agenda was posted on Friday, October 24th.
Attorney Walker, are there any executive session announcements?
There are no reportable actions in closed section, Mr. Mayor, and the minutes to so reflect.
Thank you, sir. This is the time for general public comments. The public may address the city council on any item that does not appear on the agenda for this meeting, but is within the purview of the city council.
Mr. Mayor, can I interrupt real quick and ask if, because there might be some comments to this effect. We have with us today Mr. Ben Strunk from Omega Harvest Mechanical, Metallurgy, excuse me. And he has a project, proposed project, actually out in the county, which is across the street from the high school, to reclaim lithium materials from expended batteries. And I asked him to come tonight. I wasn't certain that he was going to come, so we didn't agendize him, but he's here tonight, so maybe we can.
And this might be the time for you to address us on this issue, if you wouldn't mind. We certainly will.
Well, first, good evening, thank you. My name is Ben Strunk. I represent Omega Harvest Metallurgical. My address is 2255 Allen Road. I wanted to make sure I came in. There's been a lot of public discourse about the project we're bringing in. I think the bulk of it is people that don't understand what we're doing, or they're looking at it and going, oh my God, batteries are bad, they're dangerous. I saw them somewhere, they exploded. I wanted to go over the highlights and make myself available if anybody had questions, so we can make sure we clear up any of the issues that people may have. First, we started this, let me say, 2 years ago. 2 years ago when we got the property. The first step I always do, I'm a ask for permission first kind of guy. So the first thing I did was we met with a group of leaders, some of the people who are here now, to speak about what we wanted to do. I showed videos of operation in Ohio. I've ran this company since inception in Canal Winchester, Ohio, where one of my proudest things, I have two things I always brag on. For somebody that does what we do, I have a zero OSHA 300 log, and we also constantly get offers on the building because everybody thinks it's fake. So the idea is what we're doing never goes to the outside. You don't see, what we're doing impacts only what we're handling. And to give clarity, I know a lot of people talk about the risks with batteries, especially lithium batteries. When you're talking about lithium batteries, they're everywhere. There's probably 20 on this table right now. I mean, that's just a low shot. I can see more than that easily. So what we do before the batteries come into this facility will potentially come to this facility. They get discharged. A discharged battery mitigates the thermal runaway. So people read about thermal runaway, and what that happens is when people are storing mass quantities of batteries, that's what you see out in the world, where people are gathering these batteries but not recycling them and not discharging them. When you just store a battery in mass quantities, oh yeah, that's bad. I don't want to be associated with that. I know that happens in the world. What we do, we discharge the batteries before they will come here. When they arrive, they are inert, meaning there's no energy, there's no thermal runoff to trigger, there's no, the risk has been basically taken away. Crush the batteries so those materials can go for further refining. Now, when I say crush, I don't mean, I know shredding is the term everybody hears and they like to hear. When you hear shred, you think fine particles. When we crush, those pieces are not that big, 1 to 2 inches. They're not going to turn into airborne particles. Those are falling into a drum, into a closed system, and then they go on for further processing where they can go back into manufacturing. The bulk of the materials, I mean, lithium is a tiny amount of a lithium battery, but it is something that people look for, but also cobalt and aluminum, copper, these are kind of materials that you're going to find. We're not doing that final refining. We're not asking you to do the final refining here. That is a lot more, that comes with chemical processes and heat processes, things we don't want to try to do here. That gets handled at a smelter that handles it for most of the planet. If they're in Japan, they know what they're doing, they're the best, that's where they're going. Somebody opens one here that does it the same way, we'll send it somewhere locally. For now, we gotta go where it can get handled, and these materials can get back into the manufacturing. See, I did it all in one breath, so I gotta catch myself up. I want to make myself available if anybody has questions. If there's something that you're like, man, I just need to know about this, why is it this, or how is it this, I'm happy to answer that question for you. If I don't know the answer, I will get it to you. But I didn't want to do this in a vacuum. We try to contribute to the environments where we're at. My goal is to make sure that these things don't end up in one of these processes where they're putting them in water or where they're burning them. That's two processes I just can't get behind, and that's what a lot of people are doing. So that said, we're 2 years into this process, hoping to get the conditional use permit. Even if that was approved, not that you guys are the approving body for that, but if that was approved today, I'm still 6 months to a year from being able to operate, but I still have to follow all the other regulations. But it doesn't make sense to go down that path until I know I can do it. Can I answer questions?
Yeah, you can.
I hope I can.
Okay. I'll start.
We think it's
So it's located near the high school, that's why there's such.
I understand.
There's a large warehouse structure there. We bought in that structure, you're not gonna be using that whole structure, you're just gonna use a part of it.
So the second building that's located behind that large one you're talking about, it's about 8,000 square feet, which is, I don't know, roughly the size of the building right now, maybe a little smaller. It is really, it's not for storage, it's not for long-term containing of things. Bring it in, crush it, get it back out.
So the second structure, the one that's behind the one north of it?
So west of
Northwest?
Northwest, maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of northwest.
Sorry, I guess.
So it's a further distance from the
Correct.
sports and stuff.
It's probably 1,500 feet from the tennis courts and from that side of the road, and then even further from the school.
So your operation will do this compacting and this crushing. This crushing and separate what from what?
So when you crush it, you're literally just making sure it's not a battery anymore. So rendering it as recyclable materials at that point. The separation and the refining will happen downstream.
Downstream is
Correct.
so it will be shipped.
Right. It'll go straight into drums. Those drums are sealed as soon as they're full, and as soon as the truck leaves.
Do you have some mechanism for escaping dust or control of that atmosphere somewhere?
That's a really good question. The entire system is closed. It's a negative airflow system, so it pulls the air in around it all the time. everything that's inside the chamber is then filtered through our VOC system, and the air that comes out the other side is more. I really enjoy this part. The air that comes off of our machine is cleaner than the air outside. So it cleans to a level that is actually totally dusting things.
Can we clean the whole city for us?
We'll talk about the fee structure on that.
Is there anything else?
I know none of those guys have a question. How long, once it's something and it's recycled with their battery together, how long is it there until the process is finished and it's on its way?
So typically, if I bring in 40,000 pounds, that's gonna turn into 40,000 pounds out, and that truck will leave probably before the next one comes in.
So what's the time frame of that, days, hours? weeks?
24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
The idea is, the risk with batteries, like I said, is storage. If you're gonna hold a bunch of batteries, that's a problem. So once something comes in, we're not gonna bring it into the facility if we don't intend to shred it or crush it right away. So if it comes in, it's gonna be done 24, 48 hours.
So you're committed to that, you're not storing it all, you're not
Absolutely
moving
not.
it.
I don't want to.
It's
That's for all of us.
In my understanding that the water that's needed only for emergency for fires.
Right, and we're running a water line for the city of Holtville to complete the loop around the front as part of the project. Between that and the fire system, it's about $1 million to put that in for this project.
I don't think we ever could afford that.
Mr. Strunk, I have some questions. Thanks for coming over, by the way. I know we did speak a month ago.
Thank you for coming, you got sound questions.
So we did get to have a conversation after EEC at the county. One of the things, and I'm just gonna kind of ask about the job description, because I think some of our residents will want to know. One of the things that we talked about, if I remember correctly, was the number of trucks. I think that was in your project description. Can you provide some more info on that?
Absolutely, in the project description, so one of the guidelines I try to go by, again, I'm an ask first guy. So in the description, I list what I think is the absolute most could ever come in, and I think I set that at 3 a week, something like that. Realistically, maybe 2 trucks a week at high point. If there's a huge project, it might go up to 3 for a while, but not for long. And again, I wanted to make sure that I was clear up front of what the maximum that could ever come in was. That way we're not coming back later and going, oh man, you said 2 and there was a third one. I don't want to misrepresent.
And then, have you, I know nothing is set in stone yet, but what are your ideas for hours of operations and how many employees will you have working at the facility?
So now this is just this project, it only takes 4 people to run. So a typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, just an 8-hour shift.
And then would there be opportunity for more jobs in the future?
So part of this, I have multiple things that I'm working on together, and I want to make sure that I get this piece up and running. I have 2 more projects behind it that are going to bring this up to about 50 jobs, but I don't want to hinge this on that, so I listed it as 4 for the project.
Okay. But as of now, it would only be 4.
Right.
Until future.
I do have another operation on the property that's got about 12 people on it right now.
So 12 people are already working on that property, but not on this.
Not on that project.
So this would add 4 more employees.
Correct.
I have a question. So there's no waste byproduct as a result of?
Absolutely. No, this all goes together for further recycling. So all of the materials inside of it can be reused. And rather than trying to sort it there and turn it into those byproducts, that goes all downstream for that final process.
Okay, so there's a lot of high school kids here tonight.
Absolutely.
Let's back up, I'm kind of a kid at heart. Let's back up a little bit. Where are you getting these batteries that you're going to truck here to do in your project? Where are these coming from?
You know what? That's a really good question. The vast majority of these are coming from EV manufacturers.
Electric vehicles,
Yeah,
okay.
with NDAs, I can't give company names.
No, that's fine.
So major manufacturers of electronic vehicles are sending us their material.
Okay, so these are electronic vehicle batteries. We're not talking cell phone batteries, we're not talking that kind of stuff.
It's not exclusive of, but typically you're gonna see that.
And where do you get these and bring them in from?
So I have a facility in City of Industry where these can be, the first start of the process happens there. So they will collect these batteries, discharge them and render them inert. Then they'll ship here where we intend to do the crushing. Then from there, that goes on for a second.
And that whole process from the time that truck leaves the City of Industry to get here, the process here to the time that truck goes out, you said is about 48 hours?
So once it arrives here, 24 to 48 hours, it's gonna be on its way back out.
And then where does it go to?
It'll leave through the port of San Diego, and it goes on to,
And shipping container ships to
Japan. Yeah. And that material, once it's crushed, is non-hazardous of any type. It's just not.
Mr. Trump, can you elaborate on how you confirm that they are inert? What is that process like? I know we talked about that.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's a good time
asking
to
these
bring it up.
questions for our residents.
So one of the things, again, when I mentioned my Zero OSHA 300, one of my favorite things to do is keep my people safe. I can't do anything if somebody gets hurt, there's nothing. There's no product, no deal in the world that's worth that. So at every step of the process, we double check and verify. So where the batteries are discharged, they check before they go on a truck to come down here. Once they got here, they'll be checked again before they go into the process, and then again right before they go into the crush.
Just out of curiosity, so it starts in LA, right, somewhere?
Well, it starts at the manufacturers, but we have a facility
So where you get the battery?
in the city of Industry.
Yeah. Would it be closer travel just to the port of LA, and then coming to Hill Valley and then back to San Diego as far as travel?
So my facility that we have in the city of Industry, the leased facility, you don't generally go for a full permit in a leased facility. We bought the property here with the intention of development. It's, we're trying to do it here. If we could do it all here, that'd be great, but it's better to have a stop in between.
So let me ask this, you probably, when you went through the county and you're going through this process, you probably provided some kind of documentation to support the positions in this stuff.
Correct.
Could we get the same documentation so that our
Absolutely.
residents?
I believe they're
We can
public
be a
record.
clearinghouse
Yeah.
for it here, so we can.
Absolutely. I believe they're public record, but I'll send you everything. The conditional use permit, all of the diagrams, what's going on.
We could keep them here, and by then,
The water line plan that was approved is still with the county. The fire suppression plan that was submitted, they're waiting on the CUP to go through, but it's been approved all the way to that point. So, yeah, I'm happy to share it.
I'm not trying to do the dead horse on this inert issue, so let me. These high school
Answering the
students-
questions is
Some of these high school students are taking really good notes.
that's
And
fantastic.
I want them to be sure to understand the difference between inert and live.
Correct.
If you could elaborate on that a little bit, what's the danger if it's not inert?
So batteries in general are listed as D003 reactive, meaning that with the charge in that battery, it can react. That's typically called thermal runoff when the battery start a chemical process that allows it to get hotter and hotter until it ignites. Discharging that battery takes away that risk. At that point, you can hit it with a hammer. It's not doing anything. It's just a dead battery. So before it gets here, we've rendered it into essentially this metal that needs to be reduced before it goes out, so it cannot become a battery within the
That's helpful. Because I know sometimes people that are in the camp that fear these kind of things, their campaign is the unknown, you know, that's the beginning of that. And the more information that people have about what the realities are, it's helpful to display that kind of feeling.
That's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to be here tonight. I heard a lot. They're all public record. You can see all the letters that were submitted to the county about this. And I wanted to make myself available because none of those people asked me questions or reached out to me. The newspaper, when they put the hit piece out, didn't ask for comment. It was just bad. And I went to them and I said, hey, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. My cell phone number is on all the applications. My email address, I think, has to be weird out anyway. It's on the application. If you want to reach out, I'm happy to answer any questions. If somebody wants to go to my facility in Ohio and see it, we can make that happen.
So that's where you currently do it now, you have a facility in Ohio that.
Right, yeah, I live in Ohio.
Okay, and has there been any mishaps, concerns, how long have you been doing this in Ohio?
We founded in 2019, permits came in early 2020, and knock on wood, we haven't had any issues since. I actually, part of my process when we opened up, I wanted to make sure that everybody was comfortable with it. So Violet Township Fire Department is the fire department who serves our facility out there. I brought their entire response team in, it was 2 shifts of people, ran them through my equipment, how to operate it, so they all could come in and work for me at any point in time. But I wanted them to be familiar and comfortable with what was going on. Because understandably, when you see what's going on in the world today, you see people that are mishandling batteries. I understand why people get nervous. I get it. I encourage questions.
Is the facility in Ohio across the street from high school?
It's across the street from a pizza place
Huh?
and a grocery store. I promise you, the air that comes off my place is better than what's out there.
It's better pizza because of the better air.
Air around there.
Can't hurt. There's also an ice cream place. Custard.
So I'm gonna chime in with a couple of questions here, please kind of bear with me here for a minute. We started in 2019, how many, are there a number of other companies that are doing the same thing?
Same, similar type of thing, but not our same process. Our process is
Similar operations.
similar operations, yeah, throughout the US.
Of those companies that have been doing that in the US, have any of them had any fires at the facility?
I mean, again, they're not doing it like we are, so yes, there are people that are using wet processes or just storing batteries, absolutely.
So a few minutes ago, the word heater was brought up. And so the lineage here is that you have people that are looking in the news, they're seeing the stories of these facilities that are on fire, evacuation. And if you're talking just a couple of square miles in those facilities where those facilities are on fire, that's basically our entire city.
What I would encourage you to look at when you're looking at that.
Hang on a second. The concern that is being had in the community is that it's across the street from the high school. If that was to happen here, if an evacuation was to occur, and you've got 400 to 500 students at the high school, that is almost the entire city here. That's where the fear is coming from. Based on all of that, have you had a town hall to be able to communicate with the city here? Because the biggest question that's coming up is that you don't have a lot of people that are saying no against the facility. They're just saying no, not across the street from our high school. If you've got all of this land that you have the opportunity to be able to buy, why is it across the street from the high school? And that's not a question that you have to answer right now, but a town hall being able to communicate that with the community, giving them an opportunity to come and hear those answers, I think would behoove you rather than unscheduled on the agenda. Because, I mean, being on the agenda itself does draw a little bit more attention. We have the opportunity because we are streaming and people will go back and see
I
that.
appreciate that.
But that doesn't give them an opportunity to be able to have that face-to-face, raise their hand, and have their questions asked. So is that something that we would be able to coordinate, being able to communicate with the community?
Happy to.
But that would be ideal, that we're dealing with the present as is instead of the idea. So could we have you as a contact, if people watch this meeting and they have those questions, could we send them to?
Absolutely. My personal cell phone number is on the CUP application. My email address is with it. So everybody who's seen anything with it has seen my contact information and is more than welcome to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions or alleviate any fear. I do want to touch on, we're talking about other places that we're having problems. When you look at those facilities that are 500,000 square feet and they're storing 30, 40 million pounds of batteries, your risk is a lot higher. An 8,000 square foot facility with one truckload of batteries in it, even if a meteor fell from space and ignited all that, it's not going to spread very far. Like it's just not.
And I understand that, but the general community is not going to see the difference between your own square foot versus 8,000. They just see the facility, they see the likeness, and that's where the concern comes from.
And that's what I want to touch on.
Bifurcate that.
valid point, and I want to make sure, I will make myself available whenever anybody wants to reach out.
Mr. Strunk, did you bring business cards tonight so that each of us
I
on the
may-
council can get one if a citizen calls us? And
I will,
I can certainly email
I
you his
think I have
contact
some in the
information.
car.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Mr. Strunk, when is your planning commission meeting?
Has not been scheduled yet.
Okay. I agree with Mr. Munger that we would love if you could come and address some of those questions for our community members. We appreciate you being here today, but I think there's a lot of questions that maybe other people in our community have for you.
Sure.
So I hope that you will consider coming back and either, doing a town hall meeting or at least just getting on an agenda so that we can publicize that.
Sorry, I didn't know for sure if I would be able to.
Yeah, no, understood. Nick had mentioned something.
We talked briefly, and I was like, I don't know if I can, maybe I can, and I managed to make it down, but,
Well, thank you for being here.
thanks for having me.
Let me say this in a broader context. This isn't really a question for you, this is Mr. Bidside, taking advantage of being
Soapbox.
Well, we do know that we've got projects like the Holtville Valley where we come to our community. And wherever you fall on that, there's some people that are pro and some people that are against the idea. It does include a lot of ancillary industries that would support that sort of development. And yours is sort of on the edge of that in a way that if EV comes in some format to us because they have a ready source of lithium provided, we don't let that portend for the future. And so change is hard sometimes. I know that folks in Calabasas are going to be greatly impacted because of the proximity to the geothermal fields up there. But you can go to Calpac and you'll find that there are people that say it's the worst idea in the world. And you'll find people that say it's the best hope for them as a small community. So our community is probably not as impacted, and you are the first impact. No, you're the second impact. The impact is happening. But it's a new experience for all of us. That place where you're at used to be Bud Allen. And the irony is this, in all the years, 30 or 40 years that they operated out of there, they had ammonia in the air all the time because they were over there.
We didn't shut that down.
Of course you didn't. But for people to be wringing their hands about your project when we endured generations of that presence right across the street from high school. Maybe we just like those dollars better than your dollars. I don't know. But that was the case. And hopefully we can clear the air about what we really do, because it's easy to say there are other companies like you that do it not quite like you do, but you're one of those companies. You see how that can easy. I remember they did a study on prisons that house some of the detainees down here we have that we were associated with the Imperial Detention Center. They did a long series of articles about how evil these prisons were. And they listed things that were wrong, were done wrong to those detainees. And then at the very end of the article, they said, and Imperial's like that. They didn't cite Imperial for anything, but they just associated them with those. And you're going to fall victim to that.
Guilty by association is a thing, but the best way to take care of that is
You have to get the people out.
want to make sure you guys know what we're doing. I want to make sure it's fully transparent, where everybody sees it.
But the one thing to come back has been asked, and that's really those concerns. We do appreciate you talking on that. And we're going to be here and answer a few of our questions. More to come, but thank you for being able to willing to invest in our community. It's at risk. I hope you have good insurance. I know the insurance agency. I'm not saying you're going to come over and buy it from me, but I'm telling you, you know, don't need to be fully insured for.
That's all part of it.
eventualities.
So one of the other things, just to make sure everybody knows, before, and I think I mentioned already, even if this was approved right this second, I had the CUP in hand, it's 6 months to a year before anything can happen, because as I had to put in my responses to questions more than once, yes, I know I have to follow state, federal, local, all the laws, all the regulations have to be followed, but that starts by being allowed the process. Yeah. And I encourage anybody, if you have questions, please reach out to me, I'm happy to answer.
Well, for now, we're still in a capitalist society, and you can still make an investment in communities.
We like to. I really like the area here. We put, like I said, 2 years of work into it. I know I have offers to go elsewhere. I'm not throwing that out there like, oh my God, I can take it and run. But there are places where I don't have to, have organized attacks against me every other day, or, just the lack of questioning rather than assuming.
Is that good? Anything else from council?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, can I do one more quick thing before we move on? I want to introduce Cynthia Mancha over there in the corner. She's our new city planner. She works with the whole group. We're just shifting from one point person at the whole group to another. But if you guys are wondering who that strange new person is at the table over there, that's Cynthia. So.
Anything else you want to comment?
Yes, good evening, Mayor Goodselman, Mr. Councilman, my name is Sean Wilcox, 2415 Builders Park Drive in Imperial. I just want to kind of express my history with working with Ben. I've had the pleasure of working with Ben for over 2 years now, helping and facilitating the process through permitting agencies. And I would say that Ben has been extremely transparent through the entire process, been very forthcoming with what he's intending to do at this facility. And he's done a great job advocating for this project. We've met with the planning director of the county for the minute. We've met with the fire department. We've met with school administrators, and everybody has completely been made aware of the intentions of the project. And for the most part, signed off on everything. There were comments through the environmental process from regulatory agencies, but they were not, necessarily comments that, this project should not happen or should not talk about the site. One thing I'd love to see is, I'd love to see the youth here, our young students in the community. And these young folks are looking forward to a career one day. And it's exciting to know that this is a high-tech project that has already spent $15 million here in next year's city. Made a sizable investment here, and hopefully one of these kids get to move on to employment opportunities for either this project or a project somewhere. Going through the CEQA process, I'm sure you all know, is very difficult. And one thing that occurs on many projects is there are organizations, unions typically that hold up projects for the intention of getting a project labor agreement to build a project. Now, this project was a new construction. It's a much smaller project, so that is not necessarily the case, but the unions really perfected the process of using CEQA to hold projects up. Now you have environmental justice groups doing the same thing. So you have Comité doing a similar thing with controlled thermal resources like the Northern Valley area. And by the way, they are associated with the organized effort that's going on here. One thing that's interesting is, I mentioned unions, I mentioned environmental justice groups. The young man that is heading this opposition is both. He actually works for the United Auto Workers Union, and he's also part of environmental justice groups. So it's interesting. I've never seen that happen. We've just recently seen both of those kind of entities, utilize the CEQA process for their own gain. Comité, for example, is holding up controlled thermal resources, wanting $83 million. And they're saying that, well, we don't believe you followed the process for your air permit correctly. But if you give us $83 million, we'll say it's okay. that's extortion. I'm not saying that this project is being extorted by anyone, but, we've got to stop, letting people, misinform, citizens, get them all riled up, making their own. Unfortunately, we live in a society now where people just make up their own reality. We've got news outlets that are perpetuating false information nationwide, and that's what's happening here, unfortunately. We've got to give our youth here opportunities for careers in the future. So I know this is not a decision, resting on your council, but I do know it's important for your citizens. It's important for you to be able to be equipped, to be able to convey to your citizens exactly what the truth is about this project. So I'm glad we're here today to help you guys be informed. And as mentioned, Ben's available for questions. I am as well. So appreciate your time tonight.
Hey, Sean, I know you had mentioned that you spoke with the school district. Did you and Ben speak with the school district and kind of quell their fears? Because it's my understanding they wrote a letter against the project.
That was surprising.
So they did that after you had spoken to them and answered all the questions?
Shared a video of what it looks like to crush battery. We sat down in his office.
So all this opposition has come all at one time. And by the way, Ben has received a ton of letters, and they're form letters. They're all the same, most of them, not all of them. So there's an organized effort against this project, and that's why all of a sudden people are.
That would be my curiosity. I understand those are gonna be form letters, they all met and kind of signed off on the same thing. But the school district wouldn't be a form letter, it would be from the district, right? So that surprises me a little bit. So.
Yeah, I'm just indicating that,
Yeah.
assuming that the folks that were organized for the rest of the group will probably also fed the school district some information that got their attention.
So they wrote the letter after you gave them the presentation?
Yeah, it was
Almost
like a year and a half.
But I would say there's also some disconnect between the board and what was going on, because they came with a big thing about what about all the dust that's going to be flying over into the high school. I was like, what dust,
That's the request from the town hall.
Yeah.
And honestly, the truck traffic that used to go into that facility, was enormous compared to what this is going to be far less. As I mentioned, the ammonia is no longer being utilized in the facility, so the environmental impact is far less than it has been for decades.
Right.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to?
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, Mr. Wells, Cynthia Moncha, and forget to do your first job. Timothy Keller, I'm the City of Raleigh, 1041 County, Australia. I'm representing the Pearl Valley Economic Development Corporation. I'm very glad to be here to make comment on the plans of OHM manufacturing. I've been working with Ben for over 2 years, and during that time, we've had an opportunity to discuss many issues and things that would come up in the future. And we made sure we knew what the needs of the community were and how the Pearl Valley welcomes investment that follows the principles of the triple bottom line. And I want to explain that to you. A lot of people see economic development as an evil thing. And as a matter of fact, we've been in rooms where they call it evil because they're trying to improve the Pearl County. The triple bottom line is a policy that we go by that looks at the environment, it looks at the people, and it looks at the economy. So if you think about the people, place, and prosperity, you can't have one without the other. If you hurt the environment, you hurt the people. If you have investment, it's good, but it's bad for the people, no one wins. So we make sure that all things follow that, and we look at a project and are very involved in moving projects forward in a way that's going to be compatible and good for the economy. And Mr. Struck always followed that. And as a matter of fact, every issue that we brought up, he said, you got to come to my plant in Ohio and see it for yourself. We know that the EPA is a real challenge. You know where the EPA started? It started in Ohio. And so he knows what it is to deal with the EPA. Why did he come to California, which is the most stringent place in the United States? If you get it done here, you get it done anywhere. But he had to do it in Ohio first, which is one of the most difficult. We know that the state of California has made a commitment to move into to electrify our entire system. They're opposed to the combustible engines. And so we're looking at that direction. One thing that was not mentioned, for every battery that's produced, every battery that's produced, 15% fail. You know what happens to those batteries? They have to be recycled. And they take those batteries, they recycle them, they ship them to Japan, and they ship them back, and they reprocess them. So there's a lot that goes on in this industry. Over the last 2.5 years, we've been involved in a project called the Jobs First Initiative, by the California Economic Recovery Fund. And through that process, we had community meetings throughout the community, probably, let's say, hundreds of them, which we talked about the industry clusters, what the clusters were, what industries would come, and guess what? One of them was battery manufacturing, which the community said, if we're going to have lithium, and we want to make sure we take advantage of the opportunities for kind of manufacturing and purification of that lithium, and attract the companies that will make the batteries. And if we have batteries, we're going to recycle those batteries, and we would like it done all here. Because if we don't do it here, it's going to be shipped someplace else, which is still going to affect us. As a matter of fact, if this plant isn't built here, the trucks will still go by. They just won't stop. They'll just go to Arizona. And so that's one of the things to take into consideration. We're part of what's called the RWZ, Recycled Marketing Development Zone, and Highland County falls within that. And that's basically our county says that we welcome recycling here. And the purpose of that is that we produce things in California. We want to make sure that those products, when they come in the life, that we recycle those products here so we can make things out of it and remanufacture it, rather than shipping to other countries and giving away all of the natural resources. In this case, this product will actually go back to Japan. Do you know where it's going to go after that? Come back to the United States. So it's just because it's been processed in Japan, purified, it will be brought back. When we build those facilities in the Lithium Valley, then what's recycled here will actually go to the Lithium Valley in Northern Japan. So there was an economic impact analysis that was done on this project. And as was mentioned, there's currently about 15 employees. There's going to be another 4 that will be hired for this process. And that analysis was done for this project. So that's available as public record. Is that correct?
I haven't submitted anything yet,
And that was paid for by Mr. Struck. It was actually done by the County of Imperial. The city, so I've read a lot of comment letters, actually I've read a lot of them, and I noticed some real discrepancies. But one thing, this project is actually going to be in the county. So what's the benefit to the city? Well, how is the city going to benefit? Well, number one is going to be jobs. So that's going to be benefit. But the other thing is going to benefit is there's a requirement that Mr. Struck put in an $850,000 water line to his facility. Now, what's the water for? Probably it's going to be for fire suppression. Well, we know that you're going to put out battery fires with water. But that's a requirement, and that's fine. But who's going to benefit from that? Mr. Struck's going to benefit from that, because it's going to help the project get through. But the other thing that's going to happen, it's going to create that loop back to the city of Holtville that is needed for future development. That's $850,000 this city does not have. It's going to be paid for by Mr. Struck. So that's a benefit directly to the city, which if not done, we'll be seeking where you're going to get the money to complete that loop in the future. Mr. Struck has already made an investment of $14 million in this project. And that's in the property, that's in a lot of the working capital that he's been involved in, but also the equipment that's already been purchased for this. We'd love to see that equipment come here. And this is the first place, this is the place where 2 additional projects will come, which are going to create quite a few more jobs, as much as 100 jobs in some of the activities, which Mr. Struck can answer that I can't at this time. But those are 2 that are planned for this area that will fill up the rest of that building. That will be great projects. Well, we under the categories that I mentioned in Jobs First, which will be manufacturing and others. One will be assembly and one will actually be manufacturing. So yes, there's a fear of hazardous waste. We always have that fear. As a matter of fact, when batteries are transported, they're transported as hazardous waste. So I bought some moving today. Keep them in my pocket. And this is what we're talking about. This is the product that is going to be processed here locally. So, we carry cell phones in our pockets. We carry them all day long. We have batteries and everything we use. Mower lawns, we do electric lawnmowers. And these are the batteries that we would consider hazardous waste that we're talking about. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We've gone through a process in the last few years with the Jobs First initiative, and as I mentioned, there was quite a bit of public comment, which has accepted this and has submitted this application to the state of California for approval, has been approved, saying that we want these types of industries in our town, and now we're saying that it's certain people that don't, even though they were welcome to come to all the meetings previously. Mr. Strike is committed to local hires, hiring contractors and workers. We work with the Workforce Development Board and looking at programs that are available for him to train local workers and internships for high school graduates of Holtville. As a matter of fact, one of the things Mr. Strike is committed to is a donation to a local nonprofit that does benefit local students on an annual basis. Mr. Pacheco made a comment, and I value that comment. It had to do with, where did it make more sense to put this at the Port of Los Angeles? Well, look where we are in the Imperial Valley. When we grow lettuce here, where does it go? It goes to Los Angeles, put in a box, and sent back to the grocery stores. When we grow carrots in the capital carrot, the carrot capital of the world, where do those carrots go? They go to Bakersfield. They put them in bags, and they ship them back to the Imperial Valley. So this is not unusual in logistics, which by the way is one of the industry clusters of the Jobs First initiative, that you go to where the best value can be created for that product. And it just so happens that this is a location, because of the Lithium Valley, because of us wanting to develop that industry, attracting Mr. Strike to this location. So with that being said, I think you can see that in reading from the letters, you saw that there's a lot of opposition. But when I threw the letters, I saw a lot of discrepancies. People that are opposed to mining lithium at the Salton Sea. There will be no mining lithium at the Salton Sea. We're going to be extracting the fluid, the brine, we're going to be producing electricity, and we're going to extract minerals from that and put it back in the ground. Closed loop system, 10,000 feet underground. A lot of people think it's going to hurt the water table. There's no water table 10,000 feet underground. It's going to affect the water here in the Valley. So, I mean, these are the things that people think, they hear, and we just need to educate people more about what's going on. And by the way, we're going through that process almost on a regular basis with the Lithium Valley, get people to understand what the process is, what the benefits are, what the challenges are. And I think we're getting there. But it definitely has to do with education. Mr. Scott has been involved in a lot of discussion. The community needs more. We're willing to do that. We are starting off on a campaign because of the Jobs First initiative for each one of these industry clusters, clean tech in one, in which battery manufacturing falls into, which these can be addressed. We'll be inviting the public. It'll be open to everybody, and we will address these issues. If people will bring up questions and concerns, we'll be able to address those. And if there's further concerns, those projects will not move forward. Mr. Scott's the one taking the risk. If he ever pollutes, the project will be shut down in the most stringent environment in the United States for permitting a project. And so he's the one putting things at risk. And we look forward to moving forward not only with this project, but with the projects. Thank you very much. Any questions?
No question, just a comment. You remind me, I served on the Lithium Valley Steering Committee. Some people really know, and while we were putting together the whole proposal idea for Lithium Valley to meet soups and nuts to make Lithium Valley work, the Nicholas CD they were at the table. They were with us in all the discussions. They had every opportunity to input into what was happening and set some direction which would satisfy them. And they were there when we signed off the signature round and do a final RFP on all that. And then now the blue had turned around and sued and told federal resources to try to stop the project because they didn't get enough money, I guess. Not enough influence in the project, but we have them at the table every time we met. And we're trying to answer all the concerns, but it's what they do, is they start discontent and They leverage it.
And don't forget, they see 3 times.
Yeah, they-
3 times throwing their clothes at us.
I don't know what's like that, but
Yeah, and I want to let you know that my time at IEDC has probably been about $25 million in investment. With the exception of about 700 million of that, all projects were sued in secret. And once those projects are project labor agreements and were paid off, the lawsuits went away. And there's nothing going to benefit the environment. And can you think of how many projects we lost out on because they were sued? And projects never been done. And I think that what we're looking at right now is a message to the community, a message to the rest of the world that the Hill Valley wants business and we're really willing to support business if it's done correctly. And that's the thing we all need to make sure that be part of.
well, we need to get it done. If we don't get it right, we can shoot themselves not in the foot in the head, that was so much. Thank you guys for the kind of your insurance.
Sorry, I have one more question. You just said, we talked about the SDC being able to work. What are the education requirements?
Initially, high school education.
Okay.
We'll do further training and, I have a pretty comprehensive training plan for anybody that does work around machinery, including HAZWOPER 40, OSHA 10, just basic, certificates that we can get everybody that helps them grow and learn more and be more able to help.
Is there an age requirement?
18.
If I could just add to that, it's one of the other things that we talked about. So first of all, these will be full-time jobs, and there will be 401ks, there will be insurance, there will be some retirement for them. In addition to that, we're talking about a housing project for employees that work at the site. There's another company that we're working with that would like to build actual housing for their employees when it comes to Holtville. We met with Mr. Wells on that, so that's his dream. And when I brought this up to Ben, he said, I would like to do that also. I would like to make sure that the people that can work in my facility can own a home in Holtville. And so we do have a program called the 502 program, which Holtville benefits from, or they can benefit from. We need the houses in order to do them, and you need that water pipe built around Holtville to develop the homes to make that happen. Because there's no doubt in my mind, as we process these applications for this job program or for this housing program, we find that people are paying more in rent than what the mortgage would be through this program. And so we look forward to having more employees that will go to the benefit.
Mr. Mayor, I might suggest that we impose the 3-minute limit that's supposed to be on.
I'm sorry, I went way over.
This previous comment approached 20 minutes.
Hello, I'm Christine Lowry at 876 Ash Avenue, Holtville. I guess I'm known as a queen as it is on the marquee. All of a sudden, you put that on there. My question tonight has to do with palm fronds. I have been kind of disturbed with seeing so many palm fronds being run over on the roads that are picked up all the time. I just want to know what the protocol is, because when I go around town and I will take them off the road, and I thought by putting them aside in a pile, that would be beneficial and easy for whoever is supposed to be picking them up to do so. But I haven't seen them being picked up, and I want to know, is there a plan, is there a protocol or whatever it is for piles of concrete? I realize that if they're going to be yard, I think that they're probably responsible, the people responsible. But meanwhile, the ones that are in the street aren't being picked up, and people are driving over them, and they make kind of a mess. And I said, what can I do because I'm out there? Is it wrong for me to put them to the side, and where do I start? That's what I want to know. That's my question.
Well, certainly we don't have a patrol, a palm frond patrol running around picking up palm tree fronds. We pick them up after storms, and that's pretty much the extent of it. If there's a problem and we need to go around and pick some up, that's fine. But yes, it is the responsibility of the the owners of the trees, which are the residents, that they fell on the street and
Nobody, but
It's not the city.
but nobody, okay, well, okay, the ones that are in the street, nobody knows who they belong to, there's palm trees all over the place. So my question is, I'm willing to, you know, I like to have it look nice, it doesn't look nice, okay? So I'm picking stuff up all the time, and I wanna know, where can I put them, or what can I do, besides picking them up myself and getting a trailer and picking them all up, or whatever, I'm just, there's a lot of them around, it looks ugly.
well, it's not an automatic thing. So if you called the city, maybe we can get out and
Can I put them in a pile?
if you put them in a pile and, you know, I can't promise that we're gonna be on a daily
No, I know that.
pickup plan or anything, but if periodically, if we need to pick them up, we can do that.
And just give you the address or whatever, okay. I asked her that.
Ms. Lowry, I think
Yes.
that what he's saying is that we appreciate you getting this out, you know, the promise together. If you would just call the city once you've gathered those, not that you have to, but we appreciate it.
Oh, I know I don't have to, but it just bugs me that they're out there in the street, that's why I pick them up and I, okay, so if, I guess my question is, if I have to call, or I say, okay, there's a bunch of pile right now.
Yeah, nobody's looking for your pile. Nobody's coming.
No, they're not
for
looking
your pile.
for them, okay, so if I say, okay, such and such, give them the address or whatever, and then call,
I think he's gonna try to get staff out there, when they're available.
just, okay.
Just know though, when you take them out of the street and you put them on someone else's property, you're not getting any goods. You put them on the property.
I'm
We
sure
can't
not, but they.
We can't sanction you for taking palm trees off of the street and piling up some palm fronds inside of somebody's house.
Meanwhile, they're in the street, people just driving over and then, anyway. Well, I'm just trying to make it look nice, that's all. Okay. All right,
Thank you. Thank you for I always see you out there, you and Mrs. Austin. Thank you.
I know. Thank you, you're welcome.
Thanks for coming, guys. It gets so exciting from this part of the group. But you guys are staying for a very good thing. You wanna make a comment? Okay.
Hi, very nice to meet you here. I'm a senior at Holtville High School, one of the town parent class assignment. I just have a comment. I live on
Address,
65
Sydney.
Palm Avenue. I was just wondering, some of the streets in Holtville, a lot of them that are like more older developments, they don't really have a lot of lighting, like street lighting. I'm just wondering if you guys are aware of this or if you had a plan, maybe to put more street lights on the streets.
This has come up before. The street lighting goes in when the development is put in. So there is not really a feasible way to add street lighting ex post facto. It's when the development or that subdivision was put in, and that was the plan at the time, and that's kind of what we're with.
Every now and then they'll help on the IID and they'll provide us with some guidelines.
Is it just one street or all the streets you're talking about?
Well, specifically on my street on Palm Avenue, there's a lot of dark spaces, but also back behind middle school, in that kind of area where the trees are, it gets dark and it's obviously like it's dangerous.
Thank you.
That was a really good comment, wasn't it?
Yes.
Good evening, my name is Anderson Farrell, and I'm also a student at Holtville High School, also a Red Cross Sergeant. And I would like to comment about the city sewer line that runs down by my house. I live on, Easton, 1626, East Easton Road. And it's from the sewer plant down 115 is the city limits. I was wondering if it could get looked at. It was updated about 15 years ago, and half the street was repaved. There's only the side that was on the sewer, part of the sewer line, and the other side was unpaved, and that has become a hazard for motorists. So one of the manholes was restricted and needs to be repositioned. And I was wondering if anyone was going to look at that, or if there would be any like repave or something along that. Oh, perfect. But yeah, it's been like that for a couple of years now.
So that's all in the county, and the unpaved portion is not the city's. It's the city street. Certainly if there's a manhole that's an issue, that's ours, so we can go look at that part of it. But yeah, but the other side that wasn't paved, that's the county's responsibility.
What you see is the delineation between county and city, right there in the middle.
Yes, literally, only half for the other half is pretty much fixed. Thank you so much.
Come on, Melanie.
Well, maybe we can have a mastermind. All right, we're gonna move on with this, no public comments and things. This now is the consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda are approved without comments. Should any council member or member of the public wish to discuss any item, and then request that the item be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the new business agenda. If the items here, item A is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of Monday, October 6th, 2025. And item B is current demands number 4866 to number 4866. What's the pleasure of the council concerning the consent agenda? Is there a possibility of a motion?
I'll move to approve. As is. Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
John Munger,
Yes.
Mike Pacheco,
Yes.
Mary Anderson,
Yes.
Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Gutso.
Yes. On the reports of officers, commissions, committees, and communications. Let's start with our city clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since we last met, we had our trunk or treat / farmers market on October 16th. It was a great event. It grows every year. George Badia with the Car Club does a great job at organizing that trunk or treat portion that is really drawing in the community to come to this event. And he coordinates with car clubs from across the valley. So it's a really good event for the community. And then, of course, we have our regular farmers market that is always successful. Then later that week on Saturday, we had our trail walk. Walk the Trail was the 18th. Around 65, maybe 70 participants. There's always, a couple kids here and there that maybe don't get their registration filled, but that's what we estimate. And that includes a couple of our AmeriCorps volunteers that did the trail. And this year we had a new feature to it where we had a little pumpkin patch at the end. About 50 pumpkins, I believe, a mix of sizes. It was good. There was a little backdrop for pictures. I think everyone who was there enjoyed that. And that event is also one that continues to grow. So
How many people attended it? I missed that.
around 65 to 70. Yeah. So I feel like we counted maybe more around 50, like maybe 2 years ago, and then around last year, around 60, the same. So each year it's more and more. And then I did show you guys, I think already at this point, it's been 2 years back, kind of like a breakdown of like the demographic we get for that. And we still, the group that comes out is majority, maybe 50 plus. But it's a good group. I don't think these kids want to get up that early to come out to this event, but it's a good event. Yeah, so that one was great.
How many pets were on the trail walk?
Including Mimi and there was maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Mimi get along with all the others?
I think so. And then there's
She felt that.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bite tomatoes the whole time. I had to do that.
Yeah, so a couple of dogs. Coming up on Monday, November 3rd, there will be a little pre-con meeting for our Veterans Day Parade, which is November 15th, Saturday, November 15th. We have the average amount of parade signups at this point. So we expect that to be kind of the same length as far as the parade. Currently, I've been dealing with CalRecycle JACE, which is the Jurisdiction and Agency Compliance and Enforcement Department of CalRecycle. So they're just basically making sure as a jurisdiction, we are doing everything we are supposed to for SB 1383 organics recycling. And like I've said before, this is mostly Matt that, he knows everything that's going on. He helps me out. He's there, always accessible to me to tag along with any meetings I have to hop on. So he's been a good help, Matt from CRNR. Kind of on that tail too, we have our cleanup day this month was supposed to be the same day as our parade on the 15th, but it got rescheduled to Saturday, November 22nd. So I know Mayor Goodsell, you do go out to those, so make sure you have it down as the 22nd. And then kind of on my own with like the chamber and that whole thing, it is coming around the time again for the Carrot Festival, and there is a theme. I do want to say it because I was the one that nominated it. So if you guys probably haven't looked that far ahead, but it's going to be on February 14th this year. So the theme is Happily Ever After. So it's going to be a Valentine's theme. Happily Ever After. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's a little play on words.
Yeah. We always try to do something like that in there. So yeah, that's coming up. It's really exciting. Unfortunately, because of the football game on Friday, I didn't get to go out to the ribbon cutting, but I do appreciate seeing that a couple of the council members attended that ribbon cutting for the new restaurant over there. So, and if you have any questions, that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Hey, back to the Veterans Day parade.
Yes.
There's also a farmer's market attached to the end of that, right?
Yes. It actually starts before the parade.
Okay.
If you want to get your food or shopping done before that.
And then, did I hear there's gonna be a wrestling ring set up here on this avenue?
That idea was being thrown around. I don't think that's positive at the moment. But it is an idea.
Do you want to participate?
I thought
It's probably
On Holtville Avenue for the Carrot Festival?
No. For the Veterans Day. Remember
Oh,
she
no,
was-
but the request is to do it at in the parking lot of that.
They wanted to do it at the
gym.
same time though. But yeah, they were going to do it down at the Solo Fitness gym parking lot, but they did want it to be at the same time as our event.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I don't believe it's happening for this one though at the moment.
Because I heard Friday at the grand opening that it was happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, who knows?
I mean, the event organizer is Haley, and I know she was not at that grand opening, so she would be the best source. But yes, I did.
Can you put a 3-minute limit on the 30?
There's been a lot of events. Yes, we are in our busy months. But yes, thank you. Thank you.
She's blushing.
I actually put that on.
Yeah, you good?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Tomorrow's the weekend.
I'll just be quick.
You better be.
I'll be quick. We had, I had a meeting out at the site with IID and River Partners regarding the trail extension to the wetlands. I thought it was gonna be a little more meaty. It was all about plants and stuff, so, okay, great. But I also did meet with Steve Shelton was there, and so I did talk to him a little bit about the existing wetlands and upkeep and whatnot, and he's gonna try to be helping out with that. Attended the farmer's market and attended the trail walk, and as always, they're great events, so if you guys don't come, you should try to get there. That's all I got for events.
Did your lovely wife try to win the trail walk again?
My lovely wife could not make it to the trail walk this time, so yeah, she did not have to race everybody.
She wants to win.
She does. Hey, nothing compares to the mall event that you have, but
Do you know what, Mr. Mayor? Before I was interrupted, I did forget I had something else I wanted to mention. Whenever we have a group of people, I do try to throw out there If you text Holtville to 91896, you can sign up for our notifications to receive updates on everything going on with the city of Holtville, or at least the most important things going on. If you text a keyword, you can text report to 760-359-9995 to ask any questions, even to tell us about palm fronds in the street. So I know Christine actually has utilized that system, so you can go ahead and use that for the palm fronds.
I attended the Calapco general meeting last week. As you probably know, several of the larger counties decided not to renew their membership for this year, citing some problems with the previous board, transparency, financial stuff. I think the good news is the new organization has really made an effort to clean up those real and perceived problems. I think there were over 40 counties there, and all the bylaws passed unanimously, so that's good. Did have a couple of good conversations with Chuck from Crystal, who was our lobbyist. He was there for the first time, and he said he would be down here in the month of November for something. Good. Then secondly, I'm presenting AB 1234 ethics training for the cemetery district on Wednesday afternoon. There are some seats available if anybody wants to live and in person. Can I say live and in person to the cemetery? People are dying to go to this seminar.
Crowd was really
3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. If anybody wants to jump in, just let me know.
Where is it?
At cemetery district.
Where's their office?
At the cemetery.
Everything?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
I could check with Haley to see if who needs I mean, Yvette could check with Haley to see who needs their, that's harassment training, right?
Ethics.
Oh, ethics training.
Okay, I'll let Haley know.
It's taught by the attorney.
I mean, it is the ethics people are in this room.
It's called irony. It's called irony.
Lawyers don't know anything about ethics. We know nothing.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ramirez.
They're giving me 3 minutes. So I did attend the trunk or treat event. Great event, kids enjoyed it, lots of fun, music was good, food was good. I also did attend Royal Library Time, put on by the Chamber, tickets to that too. That was fun, the princesses and queen, all blood stories to the children. It was fun. I hope they do it again and hopefully it grows into a bigger, have more people there. And I did also attend the grand opening of the Lago Meadow. It was really good. It was fun. Tasted the food. It was great. Everybody had a great time. I'll be attending the Halloween Carnival at Finley tomorrow. If everyone, if you've never attended, I'm sure most of us will have. Ms. Chandler, there's a Halloween Carnival tomorrow night at Finley, starting at 5:30. So that should be a good time, and I will be live streaming the game against Imperial on Friday night at my house while I have
So last Thursday, I went to Steve, was the state senator, Steve Padilla's town hall meeting at the Raleigh New San Diego State STEM building. I haven't been in that building. What a gorgeous building. Raleigh is fantastic. A lot of good conversation, before the town hall with some electeds. A bunch of electeds were there. It was a pretty full house, kind of uncomfortable seating. They sat us on the steps there. The entryway to the STEM building. It was really odd. It was like this sort of stage type of thing where it was a little odd and uncomfortable for us older electeds. But then Friday, I was with Councilwoman Ramirez at the ribbon cutting for Lago Meadow. Congratulations, Councilman Ramirez spoke on behalf of the city council and did a fantastic job. Also there was, it wasn't Spanish, it did State Assemblyman Jeff Gonzalez was there, John Hawk was there, so very good turnout, and a lot of people were there too for it. But I I didn't get to stay for the food afterward because after that, I booked it to make it to, the state of the city address in Raleigh, so I could hear our friend Gil Revelar talk. He did a really good job, honestly. He did a good job. It's a very good presentation the city of Raleigh put on for the state of the city address. And, I'm glad I went.
Where'd they hold that?
That was at Hidalgo Hall there on the east side of Raleigh. Yeah, so, yeah, that's it for me.
So, yeah, the only event I made it was a grill walk with my best friend Mimi. I think Yvette did a great job of organizing. And I had a lot of compliments on the shirt, the color and everything, so good job on.
That's Haley.
Haley
That's
did it, had a good idea with
Yeah,
that one.
That Haley, a lot of compliments
Yes.
on that. That's it.
Although she said it was gonna make it orange, and I said, can we make it a muted kind of lighter orange rather than that ready, you know? So I had-
Cynthia, would you like to address us in your new role?
Introduce yourself.
Hi, there is Cynthia Macho with the Holtville. I will be serving as the city planner. I've been on the job a whole week. And I think we've done some work already, but there's more to come. I'm excited to be part of the team.
Cynthia, for clarity, you've been with the city of Holtville for 1 week, but you've been with the whole group for
4 years.
Are you gonna turn about any native or?
I grew up in Raleigh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she told me, I was giving her the tour of the town, and she told me her best friend was bought a house in Holtville.
Yeah. My best friend, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of it's one of the best looking cities in Imperial Valley. Thank you for.
You're one of the best looking cities in Imperial Valley, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's good.
And we did see, I mean, but it takes citizens involvement in terms of community, so.
At least you have a beautification for me.
Yeah.
Self-employed.
I attended the Farm Bureau annual banquet. That's the Jewish place that you put farmer of the year.
Were you the farmer of the year?
No,
No?
you have to grow more than a garden.
Oh, okay.
But they have friends of the farmer, and Mr. Mike Pacheco received that distinguished award. So it was very, very well deserved. He had some good presentation, even though he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Did you tell him where I was at? The rumor was. I was at Dodger Stadium.
The rumor was you're at the Dodger baseball game, and I said, probably so. No. One thing about our city cleanup, one thing maybe is get with the, like a 4-H group or FFA or something, they have to do community work. And that would be a great project for them to get a hold
Well,
of them.
that's what I've been thinking about, but
You know,
someone had a flatbed trailer, you know, that they can pull and just have the kids just run and pick them and throw them on the trailer. I think that would be
And if they know, if the city, the residents know their yards, they could get a hold of the city, say, get that address, and then a group could go on Saturday mornings,
Yeah,
once a month and pick it up.
and then it goes where to the city behind it, where we put it.
We'll take it to the fire department, they can do it.
We'll get you Mr. Wells' address.
You know,
You can drop it off.
One other thing I forgot to mention, but I wondered if it would help somehow to let the people know on the city, bills that you get, you know, whatever, let them know that those palm fronds are not greenways, because there's a lot of people that don't realize that they're not greenways.
It is actually on, the palm fronds not being green waste is actually on the handouts that CRNR/IVRMA issue. They have a breakdown of what
Do it
goes
every-
into what
every
trash.
quarter, I think.
Yes,
We send it out quarterly.
big paper, it tells you what goes in where, and it says no palm fronds.
So do we put it in the black trash?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because they're too fibrous, they're not biodegradable very easily, you know, that's the thing. Yeah.
And then I have less than 60 days for Driscoll walk.
Best Christmas.
Better.
Is that accurate?
We are on,
Yes, less than
we are
60
on the
days.
countdown.
Wow.
And I must
Scary.
apologize.
By the way, I asked Mix Driscoll today what day what the date of the thing is.
He doesn't-
Ask your city treasurer, quote unquote.
The 12th.
it?
December 12th.
Second Friday.
And I apologize for the 30 minutes. I will have to leave to go make a water change because Mr. Chip will charge me for my water and I must change it.
All right, Chief, Alex Silva.
My first councilmember.
3
members
minutes.
of the public, I attended the nature trail walk too, we got back to the lake, for the really good event. Also participated in the, car show, trick or treat, I put my car in there and, had a great time. We did last year and this year to see that was awesome. If you haven't had a chance to go up to the wetlands, well, I've been walking it and vegetation is going awesome. Looking really out there, a lot of birds are out there. It's looking really good. If you can't go up there, the wetlands, look at it. It's really nice. As Councilmember Rivera mentioned, that more educating carnival. Couple things going this week. We have a I'll be at the high school doing career day for CMS. After so we have to speak before seeing the high school kids. Thursday, if anybody is available, we will be doing a flag retirement ceremony at the Holtville Middle School at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's Thursday, the 30th. 31st, Sergeant and I will be passing out candy at the Finney School at 9 o'clock. We're doing school out there. Help us out. Please go out there. We did our walk to school first week of the month. We had a total of 255 kids for all 3 days. It was a fun event. And it's really enjoyable. I think we enjoyed more than they did. It was a lot of fun. And it's also during Tropical Storm Priscilla, I was asked to, I'm the operational care coordinator for the county, and I was asked to, by the Cook County Fire Department, to get a strike team to come down here and just in case anything would happen with Priscilla. So the state denied the request that they offered to put a strike team. So we made a strike team of local fire departments to be here in the valley. For Priscilla, of course, I'm happy with Priscilla. We ended up in Winter Haven, we went to Central, then Beaver. That's the city that had a fire on Maple, so I got the strike team with me to go put the fire out. And then we're back to Beaver, and there's really not much to do due to it, but again, we have to go see that in the future day. And other than my report, that's all I have. Any questions?
Chief, I know we have a big fire on April. Are you able to disclose what the cause of that was?
Not yet.
Okay, so it's under investigation.
So wait for them.
And has that family, I'm assuming, has been.
Yes. Yeah, we called in the Red Cross, we assisted with some money for me, put out on food. I know the Red Church also assisted with the family, so we appreciate it this week. And the family is very grateful for this stuff. Unfortunately, it's had a stucco facade all around it, so it's changed the heat. And we were able to completely extinguish the ones that are lab out there. Because we could get inside, there's so much to do.
And everybody got out the pets in there, was there pets in there?
There was a pet that we could get.
Okay.
Hello, I haven't seen you guys since the New York City, so I just wanted to report that I had a great time. I was really honored to have the opportunity to go, so I appreciate that. I also had ICTC this week, or last week, I mean, on Thursday, nothing to report, I'm still waiting on scoring, results for the STP and CMAC projects. Nick and I and Chavez also went over some, bids for projects, and we chose for someone for construction for the United Street. And then I'm going to Halloween, I'm going to Philippines, pass out candy with Jacob in Bell costume, so I'm fine with that.
So we will be using these.
Oh.
You know what? He would make a good one.
Anyway, that's all for me.
Myself, I want to start out talking to the high school students about something that I contacted the council, Mrs. Fernandez, Southern California Association of Governments is offering a new pilot program called the SCAG Future Leaders Initiative. I would encourage you to talk to Monica about this because it's an opportunity to go online starting in January. You have to fill out the application soon. You get a $500 stipend, and the SCAG people will train you for public service. If you're interested in a career, in civic leadership, community impact, there's really a professional growth opportunity as well. And for 18 to 26-year-olds, like I said, for the stipend, and you do that online stuff in your own time. Starting January, so you can set up a person. Okay? Last week, ICTC and Clark County Transportation Commission had a meeting for reviewing David J's contract and to do that again and doing that. Making progress on a number of projects. We discussed some of the things that are coming down the pipeline. SCAG will be involved in reviewing some of the applications and hopefully I'm going to take care for some time. I will be going to SCAG next week and they'll have a year or two and encourage folks to participate in the process. We've got something coming up with Holtville too at the end of next week. This week, next week. I'll be hopping from LA to Palm Desert and I went back to the side and do it. And do that pipeline thing. That's all I got.
Just real quick, Mr. Mayor, we talking about SCAG. I know that they have high school scholarship, there's scholarship for high school seniors, particularly earmarked from Carroll County, and I think it's new enough, although it's been around so years, new enough that some of the councils don't know about it, so I would certainly encourage Holtville High kids to look into the SCAG.
I got one of those this past year, and we took the ball together. We got two, but we had so many applicants coming to our county. So that'll come in the spring for you guys to keep an eye on those things. Don't just send it out when they're calling the bulletin and wanting you want some of the opportunities because especially for seniors, they're getting all your money. And you want to get along with all that. All right, let's move on our agenda to, we've got some unfinished business going on, it's done. The new business, we've got item A here, discussion with any action to adopt resolution 2529, awarding contract for resident engineering and construction project for East High Street sidewalk improvements project.
This is me this time. Next one will be Cynthia, even though it says here. So we'll be starting this project fairly soon. I believe the scheduled start date is the 17th of November, might be earlier, a couple days earlier. But in any case, we've got a preferred contractor to do construction. As far as the and Cindy can be reporting on that in a minute. But as far as the construction management, we had an RFP that went out. We had 2 respondents. We had a third that was in the game until the end and said they felt like their cost was going to be significantly higher than the other 2. So they dropped out and said, we'll work on that for the next time. But in any case, our 2 respondents were the Holt Group and Dynamic Consulting, who both have done this function for us in the past. Due to Caltrans rules, we grade the project on its merit, or the respondents on their merits, and pick who we think is going to be best for the job. And the committee of Chandler, Sinclair, and Alex Chavez and myself selected the Holt Group as our preferred contractor on this, and so that's the recommendation of the group. They have submitted a proposal to perform that service as well as labor compliance and soils testing assurance for a total of $88,440. when I did the calculation based on a percentage of the project and past experience with those other two functions, I got to a number in the neighborhood of $95,000. So this is well within the projected amount of what this function should cost.
You else can ask a question? Now, what is it, Nice Street? I thought they finished with all that sidewalk stuff. Is there more?
Yeah, this is on the 9th Street between Olive and Mellon.
Oh, you're not talking about, because it said east, so you're not, you're talking
No,
about.
west.
East, did you have something down there for the east?
Oh, it's west, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was
How about
all.
some direction challenge that we have? Any other comments or
Okay,
questions?
so that roadway right now is from Olive to Mountain, 19 feet wide, you hardly could get 2 cars going at the
Right.
same time. Just when them-
So significantly widen it, yeah, I mean, well,
45 feet.
it's gonna be widened. If you look at the sight line of where the sidewalk is on the other side of Olive, it's gonna match up, so. Yeah.
I would be time for a stop sign and Sears where those high school kids down. We could have too wide a street with them fly right through that stop sign.
Give them ideas.
All right, it's a pleasure to council here. We need a motion here.
No other discussion.
We can set.
Second.
Somebody needs to switch to Western.
Yes.
Yeah, let's change it.
Well, the actual, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but the actual resolution does say West Main Street, so.
We're gonna have to get someone to do like a proofreading for this one.
That would require that this stuff get done early enough to.
Roll call.
John Munger,
Yes.
Mike Pacheco, Mary Anderson,
Yes.
Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Goodsell.
Yes. Item B, a new business discussion related action to adopt resolution 2530, awarding the contract for construction of West 9th Street, Olive to Mellon pedestrian improvement project.
Got it right once and not right the other time.
50% not bad. And Nick Wells,
So I'm gonna punt that over to Cynthia Martin.
The report here, on the street, the project summary, the city of Holtville received SPGP funding service, transportation block grant funding, and local partnership program funding, include 9th Street between Mellon and Olive. The city did host a bid opening last Thursday. The city successfully received 4 bids of the pure construction was the lowest bidder at $535,000, $535,260.12. This would be the fifth and final phase of the 9th Street improvement project, and it is funded by the SDPG funding, and it came in flawlessly. The bid process was flawless. And there is a little contingency of $60,783,000 for the maximum grant award of $680,534.80. Should there be any change orders or any change orders that are required as a part of the construction.
I've got a question. So I've seen in other cities that when they put in a pipe and now they put like green stuff in the road, right? Is that gonna happen here? You're gonna have a green one on 9th Street?
That's not in the design. No.
Like bicycle.
A bicycle, and your circulation element has designated a bicycle class 2 and 3, and so it would be designed and designed with other existing city plans or and the reason we install the bike plan, the bike paths, we know that there's not a whole lot of activity, but it helps us, it's in line with the regional plan, it helps us score higher when it comes to the rubric of the funding.
Anything with trigger funding coming our way?
Bring it.
Any other questions or concerns? Anything for the motion? Okay, Councilman.
Oh.
So, Jesus.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll move to approve, what number is that? Resolution
30.
2530.
Give it a second.
I'll second.
Second, roll call.
John Munger,
Yes.
Mike Pacheco,
Yes.
Marie Anderson,
Yes.
Vanessa Ramirez,
Yes.
and Mike Goodsell.
Yes. Having the information on the status, is there anything you want to say about your staff report as well?
No, I don't believe so. We've got kind of a couple of, other than we've got a couple of projects, development projects. We got word yesterday that Friday that the Sunset Rose project, which had originally said they were going to be done around the 1st of October, then they said the 1st of November. Now they're saying Thanksgiving-ish. So they have until March to get it done for their funding requirements. So they're doing fine. But that if you go over there and check it out, it looks like it's pretty close to done. And of course, you can see. I think everybody can see the Pine Crossing stuff is moving along as they're progressing through and getting all their inspections done and all that stuff.
And any other reports, if you have any questions, if you pop up the sheet listed. Items for future meetings. Do you have anything particular that anyone's mind?
I know I didn't put it on this time, but we're going to kind of periodically keep the capital projects thing going. And I know you were going to interface with ILG about that as well. So.
Is our next meeting
Yes, 10.
Nothing else to come. So, let me ask, did you sign all the paperwork?
I signed, they were all signed. Maybe not all that me, but we all.
You got done, you got it.
Yeah.
Good job, Shannon. Take care.
We're gonna be adjourned. Thank you all. for coming.
Thank you. Actually, I need to.